everyone, I am Afreen and welcome to today's lecture. Today my topic is going to be about social networks and support. My topic will be covering the following 7 major objectives: social networks and support, characteristics of social networks, technological adoption, key demographics of social networking sites, some structural characteristics of the overall network systems, theories pertaining to social networking sites, and support. So, let us start with what social networks and support is. Any structure representing relationship with people around them is called as social network. This social network helps one to develop ties with friends, families, and significant others, and this social structure of nodes can be represented as a person or organization. It has been since 1930s social network gained attention and was applied in various disciplines like sociology, marketing, psychology, economics, etc. Social network refers to the social interactions that individuals have with others that enables to develop personal relationships. Layman definition of social network is the relationship with other people whom one supposes to be in proximity and with whom one shares feelings, thoughts, and his interest. But one does not have to go online to be exposed to social networks. Rather, social ties and social relationship are the base concept of social network with predominance of Facebook and Twitter. Although now social network is not restricted to communication on social media only, rather the concept has changed and social network is making its way towards business, medical consultation, advertisements, and even for campaigns. However, psychosocial concept of social network indicates digital spaces where an individual can manage their network of social relationships and social identity. Now, let's move towards discussing characteristics of social networks. Characterization of social networks can be done on basis of some characteristics like the virtual space must be present, availability of user list which could be means of communication, the possibility to analyze the characteristics of the network, in particular the connections of other users. We can't be wrong if we call social network as a hybrid, that is interrelated, which allow the person from virtual field to enter your real world and vice versa. Due to interrelationships, social networking can be used for a support system, and this support system later on becomes identity of an individual or tool to explore the social identity of others. Hybridized social network has given rise to interreality, a new social space that is more flexible and dynamic than previous networks. It has been noticed with this space of social network, an individual is able to change his identity in virtual mode and his actual identity remains hidden. Use tools that act as a medium to connect with other people. Overall, it can be said people change themselves with respect to who they actually are. From this point of view, technology does not take a day to emerge as a full-fledged field. Rather, it takes a long time and is a complex process indeed. Now we'll discuss another objective of today's lecture, which is technological adoption. Most importantly, when we talk about technological adoption, it is a complex process characterized by different states of adoption. These states of adoption are: the first one is stage of awareness. In this stage, existence of technological innovation is the main focus of individual. However, individual lacks complete information regarding those innovations. Second is stage of interest. An interest in individual arises when they perceive innovation is information seeking. In this stage, early adopters are the one who willingly accept the innovation when they predict it beneficial. Third is stage of evaluation. Once individual is able to understand effects of innovations, afterwards individual adopt a new idea after evaluating advantages and disadvantages of technology. Fourth is stage of trial. This stage is being adopted by people who have accepted the technology lately. However, many times late majority adopters approach the innovation due to social pressures of the peers. Fifth is stage of adoption. This is the stage where individuals fully adopt innovation, and among those are people who are isolated and have reduced social relationships. This may be due to the reason individuals have limited resources and are slow in making decisions due to less social ties and relationships. When the first social networking site, classmate.com, was created in 1995, it just acted as a mere friend finder which helps the user to find their old friends and build relationships. Later, looking at the huge success of networking sites, hundreds of sites were created all around the world. Orkut was one of the famous social networking sites in India. After 2006, the concept of Facebook became a great success, followed by Twitter and recent Google+, LinkedIn, etc. These sites can be used as public blogging, resource sharing, reflecting one's views on any social issue, and some of the sites are used to share and give opinions regarding research, literature, and even to present his art. These sites pave a way for freedom of speech and expression. They can share what happened around them, and with their views, they can find followers and likes for their updates, which act as incentives for future usage of these networking sites. Social networking role behavior is known as a key to networks that relate to goal pursuit also. We view a key function of social networking and social media activity as securing or maintaining system support linkage for goals associated with him, like personal, professional, and goals related to socialization, either in person like going to networking site or social event, or using online medium like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. However, income satisfaction with career is found to be significant positive correlates with objective and subjective measures of social networking. Despite the popularity of social networking and social media, it addresses some drawbacks also, like for example, negative aspects of social networking and competitive relationships that exists with the usage of each networking site. For example, posting information on social networking for support system and observing the content they have shared, but some individual in return post hostile and aggressive comments in response to that post. That is why some of the researchers are paying keen attention to the notion of social media bullying, putting into consideration dynamic network theory, which focuses on these conflict linkages. Now, let me bring your attention to another objective of my topic, which is key demographics of social networking sites. We all know every individual maintains their presence on Facebook, and it hardly matters whether they use other network or not. Is it affordable for them or not with respect to time and money? However, there are a huge number of variations in usage of social networking sites, gender-wise, age-wise, area of residence, where user is residing, etc. 2 decades before, we were of notion usage of these social networking by teens and adolescents is frequent. But with the pace of time, every individual, despite of his work, academic qualification and age, are using it. But some social networking sites have an overwhelming female user, and some networking sites attract teenagers and college students, like, for example, Facebook, some online games like Clash of Clans, PUBG. Statistics from the social networking users in India reveals with the ease of access, the number of social media users in India stood at 518 million in 2020, and by the 2040 it is expected to touch the expectancy of 1.5 billion people. Facebook being the most used social networks in India, having 241 million active users. Following Facebook, 69 million people in India use Instagram, which clearly shows dependency on social media, revealing the fact the most Facebook and Instagram users are women than men. However, LinkedIn is somehow showing different demographics. This professional networking site attracts older adults and mostly who are educated. 50% of demographics show LinkedIn users are college graduates, and 22% show those who have some college experience in their lifetime. From the self-presentation management perspective, individual has a fundamental desire to maintain positive impression on social networking. We know social networking represents others and us virtually. Thus, there is a frequent concern about positive impression which can deceive people on opposite side. Although this deception may facilitate self-presentation goals, but researchers both on and offline have demonstrated the importance of social relationships. Technically, people with whom the individual is connected are referred as ties. These ties have clear effects on individuals' perception, and each profile had a recommendation from a tie that vary with respect to status, and this status variation can be with respect to job profile, professional credibility, likelihood of getting higher potentials. Thus, information provided by the user is important with respect to impression formation in social networking. To reach to psychology of users, it is very important to understand the perspective of user, their purpose of using it, and how user actually approach each network and what type of network dominates the cognition of an individual, which determines his behavior. Social networking plays a significant role in social support of an individual whenever required. In developing countries, internet has been used since decades, and interestingly, social networking is known to be support system in many developed countries. Apart from Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, etc. Social networking sites are used for peer support as well as for professional support on the internet. This support group on the internet is known by many names like e-health, online counseling, web-based therapy, and many experts are involved in it which have expertise in providing support like psychologists, counselors, therapists, nurses, etc. Nevertheless, we have concept of emotional support also. There are many people around who although don't have expertise but provide emotional support to some peers around, co-workers and acquaintances also. Among these people are people with experience of parenthood who have a specific experience and provide support message to new mothers like tips related to pregnancy, motherhood, etc. And in some cases, this type of support has been found with physical and mental health problems also. Shift towards using online social networking as a support system has occurred in recent years. This led to a rise of online support group for people facing health concerns, with only fewer number of groups in 1990s to hundreds and thousands of groups in 2012. Thus, social networking acts as a protective factor against illness and disease or to any stressor which individual perceives. Although perceived support also led to better well-being, reduced negative emotional reactions and behavioral response also. One of the research reported individuals are supported and influenced in certain health behaviors like help-seeking behavior, and other research evidence reveal smoking cessation and weight loss also. Earlier in 1990s, online support group began to develop for providing support to those who have wide variety of health issues. According to many researchers, then they began to study these groups through descriptive research methods. Once individual has identified linkage in social networks, then afterwards approach is made to assess relationship between social interactions and health status. However, some problems arise due to social networking and perceived support, and this occurs due to cultural differences, individual differences, and other environmental factors also. Research evidences suggests this often happens when individual is asking support for stigmatized health conditions. But many other factors of social networking are also put into consideration, like anonymous communication, non-judgmental space for people to share their information regarding health, especially in those cases where individual is either suffering from any chronic illnesses or with any type of communicable disease. However, convenience and ease to access social networking are not only correlates of health, rather it is gaining support system which is most of the time used for counseling regarding education, business, health, and nowadays for various advertisements also. In today's technological world, social influence plays pivotal role in the attractiveness of advertisements also, which can have many mediums like television, newspapers, and pamphlets. In earlier years, before technology was not easily accessed, print media was only source of influence as an advertisement. But now we trust more on digitalized advertisements due to increasing popularity of social network sites which cater all people in spite of their gender and have become integral part of life. Although we can say with the help of social networking sites, individual can openly represent his views or he is an open opinion maker. Many issues across the country got specific attention, for example, Lokpal Bill and many more. As a result of this, power of social media technology users can develop their identity in a better way, and they have a power to develop their identity formations. However, social media usage is leading individuals, especially our youth, towards dependency because it directly affects their self-perception due to the reason they compare themselves and their situations with others, and these comparisons occur frequently when they engage with each other. A social support network is different from a normal support group in which people facing common issues share their concern on regular basis. Various research evidence findings reveal that social support network is perceived more among adolescents, student group, people who feel loneliness, and in many cases, people who are not able to get actual support whenever they need. It is a paradox that in societies and age group among which social networking sites are most widely used at its highest, people experience highest level of loneliness. So, first prerequisite of any of the support network, whether online or offline, is analyzing the relationships first, benefits of support networks and how to sustain these relationships. Interaction of social networking sites is considered as a type of support, and Facebook is considered to have strong ties and bring emotional type of social support. It is used more frequently than other networking sites and is used more by teens, estimation of around 93% teens using it. The success of social networking sites arises from excess of network and support they provide. This support group has been positively associated with health through some specific pathway which enhances health behavior, increase coping capacity, and buffer the fight and flight response during stressful situations. However, difference in network structure lies on perception of network and availability of network. Let us now discuss some structural characteristics of the overall network systems. There are some structural characteristics in the overall network systems which are called as links. These links are categorized on basis of range and density. Range is the number of direct contacts of an individual. Individual can have few contacts or many depending upon usage of social networking approach he is using, acceptance of mutual relationship from person on the other side. And density includes proportion. The density is calculated by the links that could possibly exist and that is perceived by individual. The nature of the support provided by social networking sites varies according to the intensity of the relationship also. Moving forward to another objective of my topic, which is theories pertaining to social networking sites. First theory is social deterministic theory. Theoretical perspective from the social deterministic theory postulates three psychological needs of human being, which are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. But research assesses that outcome of social networking sites usage has focused on relatedness. Furthermore, it is also found that the usage of social networking sites, specifically Facebook, showed bidirectional outcomes. They found a positive correlation between Facebook usage and disconnection. Few other studies also reveal that people who do not meet their relatedness needs use Facebook as a coping strategy. Another theory is gratification theory. The most common theory used to understand why people engage with social media is gratification theory. This theory studies the motives people have for engaging with the media that they do in order to gratify their needs. According to this theory, gratification sought are not the same as the gratification obtained, but continuous use of a medium over time implies that the gratification obtained strongly reinforce continuous use of that same medium in order to continue seeking the gratifications originally sought after. Another theory which is paying attention towards networking sites is the interpersonal connection behaviors framework. This framework advocates that usage of social networking sites compromises the individual's well-being when this usage is determined by behaviors that do not fulfill needs for acceptance and belongingness and consequently do not fulfill the need of relatedness. On the other hand, social networking sites usage is beneficial for well-being when behaviors that satisfies needs for belongingness and connectedness takes place. All these theoretical perspectives in general terms seem to be reconciled in the explanation of the bidirectional relationships, and it covers their common factor, that is, relatedness, explicitly. Much research evidence has been supporting the integration of social networking sites and with loneliness and perceived social support, which are two constructs with implications for relatedness. If we compare individual with one link network and individual with several networks, the person with links of networks has potentially greater access to other social fields which provide more extensive field of information. Thus, individual with diverse links of networks can implement more influence on the people of opposite side who may be virtually present. Individual can make usage of these multiple nodes or linkage to put greater emphasis on personality of individual. Social networking operates on many levels and play important role in solving problems and helps individual to succeed in achieving their targets and goals. In today's fast-paced world, social networking is a boon as it allows two people from two different locations to interact with each other socially. Although being used to and dependent on social networking, there is always possibility of friends and possible acquaintances around us. There is always possibility of direct and indirect relationships with people in schools, college, office and in sports club to link with us, which is possible only through one medium, that is social networking. These linkages or ties can be informal. For example, whether people in one organization know people in other organization, or formal, for example, when people are officially assigned to each other and for this assignment funds are remunerated. However, cohesion is also an important factor that portrays connectedness, or we can say interconnectedness, and we can measure cohesiveness by three common measures, and these are: very first is distance. Distance between two people in a network is calculated by summing the number of distant ties that exist along the shortest route between them. Next is reachability. It measures whether people in social networking are related directly or indirectly to people around them. It is expected reachability to other sources of network are connected and whether they are related to each other directly or indirectly. Last one is density. Density in the network is the total number relational ties divided by the total possible number of relational ties. Density is known as one of the most commonly used notions in social epidemiology. It has been noticed weak ties provide most information and strong ties provide limited information. This indicates stronger ties build more support system among the people as compared to people having weaker ties. Often individuals use social networking sites to look for support, and what type of support is perceived and anticipated depends on these stronger and weaker ties and linkages. Thus, it can be concluded usage of networking sites act as a medium for support, as a medium for communication, and as a medium for expression of feelings and thoughts in an individual. Social networking sites put into consideration every individual's point of view regarding any of the issue or promoting any matter with respect to human rights, health, education, business, etc. Moreover, key function of social networking and social media is to maintain support system. It has also been proposed that informational and emotional support is a key for adjustment. Moreover, social community on the networking sites is a mirror image of the people living in real world. And this social connectedness and online interaction are interrelated. Thus, we can't be wrong if we describe social networking as a tool to develop new interactive dynamics on the grounds to create and remain in relationships. In general, social networking and social media represent positive effects on an individual with respect to support they receive, and supporters perceive it with respect to notion how many likes individual is getting, comments he or she is receiving, but less focus is put on negative connotation which social networking and media platform have, like for example comparing oneself with others, which minimizes self-esteem of an individual. This comparison is pointed out in social comparison theory as upward comparison. It has been demonstrated that the use of social networking increase or strengthen the emotions of an individual, and connections of social bonding is also upgraded. On the other hand, developing and maintaining a social tie is a two-way process which involves give and take from both sides. Sometimes one can be at giving end and other times same person can be at receiving end. These two processes need to be examined and analyzed, and being an important part of support system, one must focus on characteristics by which he will be able to strengthen social support by examining social network and analyzing the effect of some networks on the behavior of person within them. Now, let's talk about last objective, which is support in detail. Support being the multidimensional construct including support mobilizing and support giving behavior includes all the specific factors that determine cognitions and functions of an individual. Furthermore, online social support plays important role in social networking. Social networking sites support the primary mechanism humans need to maintain social homeostasis. Our adaptive mechanism, being a human being, is to respond to the state of weakened stimuli by engaging in social networking sites. In actual, we as an individual search for connectedness indeed via social networking. Being an individual, our lives do not experience vacuum. We directly respond to the environment around us. Thus, higher the interaction on social networking is a potential contributor or factor that increases connectedness and vice versa. The Internet paradox revisited confirmed the relationship between social networking sites and support further influences the psychological well-being. Nonetheless, social networking is the area that is growing continuously and rapidly, both putting into consideration its concerns and its benefits. It is important that parents, caretakers must monitor the social networking sites used by their children. However, transparency is very necessary with regard to protocol management of social networking sites, but mishandling of these networking sites is at its peak. The Common Sense Media survey found that 13% of teens reported being cyberbullied at least once. Additionally, social networking sites are assessed with reference to inappropriate content also. Nearly two-thirds of teens that use social networking sites report they often come across comments regarding racist, pornography, and religious-based hate content in social media. Thus, this digital world of connectedness and interaction on these social networking sites is an approach to use information on social networking and to fulfill specific target goals. Overall, it is imperative to mention available means of connections and perceived connections helps an individual to develop support system, connectedness, create communities which can be categorized as in-group community and out-group community. That brings us to the end of this topic. Thanks for watching.